She walked into a top financial firm's interview, her linen shirt mocked as janitor's rags by a sneering panel who called her a fraud. They shredded her gold standard resume, laughing, "You're no leader. Go fetch coffee." Humiliated, Elena stood firm, her calm gaze hiding a secret that would shatter their world. Minutes later, the CEO bowed to her, his voice trembling. "Madam Chairwoman." The Alterera Group's headquarters towered over Manhattan's skyline, a glass monolith that screamed power and prestige. Its lobby was a cathedral of wealth, marble floors, gold-trimmed elevators, and a chandelier the size of a small car casting prisms across leather sofas. Alterera was a financial titan, managing trillion-dollar portfolios for governments, tech giants, and old-money dynasties across Europe and beyond. Its boardroom hosted Nobel laureates, and its executive suites were a revolving door for Ivy League pedigrees. The company's culture was ruthless. Appearance was as critical as aptitude, and the wrong suit could end a career. Alterara's Instagram flaunted its Soite and Armenian Rolexes, a curated image of untouchable elitism. This was a world where status was armor and outsiders were crushed. Elena Roy stepped into the lobby, her white linen shirt crisp but unadorned, her cream trousers tailored yet simple, her flat shoes silent on the marble. At 39, she was striking in her restraint, hazel eyes that held both warmth and steel, dark hair pulled into a low ponytail, no makeup save a touch of lip balm. Her canvas tote carried a notebook, a pen, and a worn copy of The Wealth of Nations. Elena was a legend in finance, a double MBA from Oxford and MIT, 15 years steering strategy for top investment funds in Zurich, Singapore, and Boston, and personal endorsements from 3 global banking CEOs. She'd built Alterara's recruitment system a decade ago as a consultant, ensuring fairness and meritocracy before stepping away to chair a private foundation. Today, she'd return anonymously to test that system, posing as a candidate for global strategy vice president. Her wealth, tied to her husband's tech empire, was vast but invisible. She preferred it that way. The receptionist, a young woman named Chloe with a slick bun and diamond studs, glanced at Elena's outfit and smirked. "Interview candidates use a side entrance," she said, pointing to a glass door. Elena nodded, her tote slung over her shoulder, and followed the direction, ignoring the whispers from suited executives nearby. As Elena waited in the hallway before her interview, the other candidates, decked in designer suits and dripping with arrogance, formed a circle around her, their whispers sharp as knives. Lia Tate, a woman in a Gucci skirt, pointed at Elena's tote, laughing. "Is that her briefcase or grocery bag?" Jared Hull, the pre-selected candidate, joined in, tossing a crumpled dollar bill at her feet. "For your dry cleaning," he sneered, prompting chuckles from the group. Another candidate, a man in a Rolex named Ethan Crane, snapped a photo, posting it to a group chat labeled Alterera Wannabes with the caption, "Hat Budget Candidate." The hallway echoed with their laughter, phones filming as Leia chanted, "No suit, no shot." The junior HR staffer, Emily Voss, smirked from nearby. Doing nothing to stop them, Elena's fingers tightened on her tote, her hazel eyes burning with restrained pain. But she stood tall, her dignity a quiet defiance against their cruelty. The video hit Instagram, gaining 10,000 views, each comment a fresh wound to her pride. Lost in turn, one muttered, chuckling, "Or the cleaning crew," another replied, "There," laughter sharp. The side entrance led to a sterile hallway where Elena joined a line of candidates, most in bespoke suits clutching leather briefcases. A man in a pinstriped suit, Jared Hull sneered at her tote. "Hope you brought a better pitch than your wardrobe," he said loud enough to draw snickers. Elena's hazel eyes flickered, but she smiled faintly, her composure a quiet fortress. In the interview room, a sleek conference space with floor-to-ceiling windows, the panel awaited. HR Director Michael Callahan, a barrel-chested man with a $5,000 suit. Senior Manager Vanessa Clean, her red lipstick stark against her tailored blazer. And Director of Operations David Reese, his cufflinks glinting as he flipped through papers. Their eyes were Dina's outfit, their smiles thin and predatory. Callahan leaned back, chuckling, Are you the actual candidate? I thought you were the coffee lady. Vanessa smirked, adding, Is this how you dress for an interview? No one told you Alter Era has a standard. The room's air thickened, their judgment a palpable force. Elena's voice was calm, measured. Please review my resume and let's begin the interview. Callahan snorted, tossing her file aside unopened. We'll get to that, he said, his tone dripping with condescension. The panel's questions were peremptory, designed to dismiss. During the interview, as Elena attempted to answer Vanessa's superficial question about mergers, the panel deliberately sabotaged her. David Reese flicked on a projector, displaying a slide titled Candidate Attire Standards with a red X over a photo of a woman in a linen shirt eerily similar to Elena's. This is you, he said, smirking as the room laughed. Callahan interrupted her response, shouting, Speak louder. We can't hear you over that outfit. Vanessa slid a second test. 5 pages of contradictory financial models, Midden's answer saying, Oh, and this one's due in 3 minutes. The panel snickered, their pens tapping as Jared peeked in, winking at Callahan. The sabotage was blatant, a spectacle meant to break her. Elena's pen paused, her hazel eyes narrowing, but she continued writing, her composure unshaken. The slide was screenshotted, posted to the Alter Era Elite Slack, captioned, Chasha dressed to fail. Each share a public crucifixion of her dignity. Describe your experience with high-stakes mergers, Vanessa asked, her pen tapping impatiently. Elena began detailing her role in a $50 billion deal in Singapore, but David cut her off. That's enough, he said, smirking. Sounds like assistant-level work. The panel exchanged glances, their amusement. Clear. Then Callahan slid a 10-page financial analysis test across the table. 5 minutes, he barked. Let's see if you're worth our time. The test was impossible. Dense equations, contradictory data, a trap meant to fail. Elena scanned it, her hazel eyes narrowing, but she wrote steadily, her pen precise. When time was called, Vanessa snatched the papers, barely glancing at them. You're not a fit for our leadership culture, she said, her voice final. Wrong attire, no presence, and frankly, you bombed the test. Before Elena could respond, Jared Hole, the candidate waiting outside, strutted in, his pinstriped suit gleaming. He'd been pre-selected. His interview a formality after a $200,000 donation to Callahan's private fund. Jared winked at Vanessa, who smiled back, sliding his file to the top. Now, this is leadership material, she said loudly, ensuring Elena heard. The panel laughed, Callahan clapping Jared's shoulder. You're our guy, he said, ignoring Elena's presence. The room's hierarchy was clear. Money and flash trump merit. Elena stood, her toad in hand, and tilted her head, her voice low but firm. I don't know of any candidate so exceptional that the panel would overlook all standards from experience to ethics. But if an envelope is enough to sway a decision, then today's test is no longer necessary. The room froze. Callahan's face reamed, his fist slamming the table as he stood. Are you insinuating we accept bribes? He roared. Do you know who you're speaking to? This is a leading financial conglomerate, not a marketplace for cheap accusations. Vanessa's smirk vanished, her pen dropping. David leaned forward, his voice icy. You got some nerve, lady. No wonder you're dressed like a nobody. The other candidates in the hallway, peering through the glass, whispered, She's done. But Elena didn't flinch. She looked Callahan in the eye, her voice slow and even. I know exactly who I'm speaking to, she said. And even more clearly, who doesn't deserve a seat at this table? The silence was deafening, the panel's confidence cracking, their eyes darting. Nervously, as Elena's words hung in the air, Vanessa leaned toward David, her whisper loud enough for the room. She's probably some disgruntled clerk fishing for a lawsuit, she said, smirking. Look at her. Bet she typed her resume at a public library. The panel laughed, their voices sharp as Jared joined in, tossing a mock salute at Elena. Better luck at the temp agency, he said, high-fiving David. The hallway candidate snickered. Phones out, filming the exchange for a private Slack channel labeled Alterera. Elites. The video spread instantly, captioned, H Coffee Lady Crashes. Each comment, what a loser. Fire already, a fresh wound. Elena's fingers tightened on her tote, her hazel eyes steady. But the humiliation was a living thing wrapping around her like smoke. She didn't speak, her dignity a shield against their cruelty. The panel's mockery escalated. Callahan, still fuming, grabbed Elena's test and tore it in half, tossing the pieces onto the table. This is what we think of your skills, he said, his voice booming. You're wasting our time. Vanessa stood, her heels clicking, and pointed at Elena's tote. Check that bag before she leaves, she said to the security guard by the door. Wouldn't be surprised if she's got company pens in there. The guard, a stocky man named Victor, smirked and stepped forward, his radio crackling. Open it, ma'am, he said, his tone implying guilt. Elena calmly unzipped her tote, revealing only her notebook and book, but the guard shook his head, muttering, shady. The panel laughed, Jared snapping a photo, the flash catching Elena's face. The image at Twitter tagged, Alter Reject, racking up 5,000 retweets in minutes. Elena's jaw tightened, but she closed her tote, her composure unshaken. Outside the glass walls, the other candidates formed a gauntlet, their whispers a chorus of scorn. No wonder she's failing. She looks like she shops at thrift stores. One said a woman, in a Gucci skirt named Lia Tate. Another, a man in a Tom Ford suit, added, bet she's never seen a boardroom. Their laughter echoed, phones filming as Elena walked past her flat silent. Leia posted a TikTok stitching the footage with her commentary. This is why Alterar is elite. We don't let just anyone in. The video hit 50,000 views. Each share public shaming. At the elevator, a junior HR staffer, Emily Voss, smirked. Wrong floor, hun. Janitors used a service lift. The hallway erupted. The candidates' laughter blade. But Elena pressed a button, her hazel eyes fixed on the doors, her calm masking a fire within. The elevator doors hadn't closed. When the panel's final jab landed, Callahan stormed into the hallway, holding Elena's unopened resume, and shouted, Don't bother coming back. You're blacklisted. He tore the file in front of the candidates, the pages fluttering to the floor. Vanessa followed, her voice dripping with venom. And take your little book with you, she said, kicking Elena's copy of The Wealth of Nations toward her. The candidates cheered, Jared yelling, Back to the library. The security guard chuckled, his radio buzzing as he muttered, Thought she caused trouble. The video of the resume shredding went viral. Had Alterera elites trending each comment. She deserved it. No class, no chance. A fresh wound. Elena picked up her book, her tote heavy with betrayal, and stepped into the elevator, her head high. But the Alterra group was about to learn who they'd mocked. 10 minutes later, the boardroom doors swung open, and Gideon Price, the CEO, strode in. At 50, he was a legend. Sharp jaw, silver-flecked hair, and blue eyes that could freeze a room. Gideon had built Alterra into a global powerhouse, his reputation for fairness as fearsome as his intellect. He didn't glance at the panel, his steps deliberate as he approached Elena, who'd been escorted back by his assistant, a young man named Lucas in a navy suit. The room's air shifted, the panel's smirks fading. Gideon stopped before Elena, his voice low and resonant. Madam Chairwoman, he said, bowing slightly, I apologize for keeping you waiting. The room was a tomb, the panel's faces draining of color. Elena unbuttoned her coat, revealing a gold-plated badge pinned to her shirt. Chairwoman of the board, Elena Royce. She turned to the panel, her hazel eyes icy but calm. I didn't come here to apply for a job, she said, her voice cutting through the silence. I came to assess whether the recruitment system I built remains fair. She paused, her gaze locking on Callahan, then Vanessa, then Jared. And the answer is no. As Gideon's words, Madam Chairwoman, echoed, the panel's arrogance collapsed into terror. Callahan's face went ashen, his $5,000 suit no shield as he stammered. Chairwoman, this is a mistake. Vanessa's heels trembled, her red lipstick stark against her pale skin as she clutched the table, whispering, "No one told us." David's cufflinks clinked as his hands shook, his projector slide still glowing with the mocking image of Elena's outfit. Elena opened her tote, pulling out a tablet, and displayed a live feed of the Altera Elite Slack, exposed in their captions. Hat coffee lady crashes hash dress to. Failed to the room. "You build a culture of corruption," she said, her voice calm but lethal, her hazel eyes pinning each panelist. The candidates in the hallway gasped, their phones dropping as Lucas projected Elena's badge on the wall. Chairwoman of the board. Gideon's blue eyes darkened, his voice a growl. "You're done," he told the panel, their careers evaporating before their eyes. The room's silence was a verdict, their fear a tangible force as Elena's power reshaped their world. Gasps rippled through the room, the candidates in the hallway frozen, their phones lowering. Callahan's mouth opened, but no words came. Vanessa's heels wobbled, her red lipstick stark against her paler. Jared's pinstriped suit seemed to shrink, his bravado gone. Elena stepped forward, her toad on the table, her voice steady. 10 years ago, I designed Altera's hiring to prioritize merit, skills, ethics, vision, she said. Today, you've shown me it's a marketplace for bribes and bias. She pulled a folder from her tote, sliding it to Gideon. This is evidence of payments made to secure positions, including Mr. Holtz. The folder detailed Jared's $200,000 donation, bank transfers traced to Callahan's account, and emails from Vanessa promising Jared the role. The panel's eyes widened, their hands trembling. Gideon's gaze darkened, his voice like steel. "Effective immediately," he said. "Mr. Callahan, Ms. Klein, Mr. Reese, and Mr. Holt are suspended pending investigation." The security guard, Victor, called, his radio silent as Lucas escorted him out. The fallout was seismic. By noon, Altera's board launched a full probe, uncovering a network of paid positions and discriminatory practices. Callahan's fund was frozen, his $5,000 suit no shield as he faced fraud charges. Vanessa's LinkedIn was flooded with hashtag Bribe Queen comments. Her consulting gigs canceled. Jared's finance career tanked. His pinstripe suit a memory as firms blacklisted him. The investigation revealed Leah Tate and Emily Voss had leaked internal memos mocking undesirable candidates. Their jobs terminated, their social media accounts suspended for hate speech. Elena's investigation didn't just suspend the panel. It purged Altera's boardroom of complicity. She convened an emergency board meeting, her linen shirt radiant under the chandeliers, and presented a dossier of 20 managers linked to the bribery scheme, their names flashing on a screen. The board, once dismissive of image issues, sat frozen, their tailored suits no defense, as Elena's voice cut through. "You enabled a system that sold. Trust for cash." She named Callahan's deputy, Sarah Holt, who'd approved Jared's deal. Her face paling as security escorted her out. The room's power shifted, directors trembling as Elena enforced a Royce standard, mandating ethics audits for all hires. The Financial Times Live streamed her speech, her toad on the podium as she declared, "Altera will lead by merit or it will not lead at all." Social media hailed her, hashtag boardroom boss trending. Each post a testament to her fearless authority. The purge managers LinkedIn. Profiles went dark. Their fear of Elena's resolve a permanent mark. The Wall Street Journal ran a front-page story. Altera scandal bribery and bias rocked financial giant. Social media erupted at Altera's shame, trending globally with users posting they mocked her shirt. Now they're unemployed. The hallway candidates, once Elena's tormentors, faced a public reckoning as Lucas streamed the interview footage to Altera's internal network. Lila Tate's Gucci skirt seemed to wilt as her TikTok mocking Elena flashed on screen. Her face crimson as colleagues whispered, "That's her." Jared's dollar toss replayed, his pinstripe suit no shield, as gasps filled the hallway. His Altera wannabes chat exposed with 200 members shamed. Ethan Crane's Rolex glinted as he tried to flee, but security blocked the doors. His photo post now captioned hashtag Career Killer Online. Elena stood at the room center, her tote on the table, and said, "You judge me by my shirt, not my skills. Now the world sees your character. The footage hit LinkedIn, racking up 5 million views. Each comment, they're finished. Elena is a queen, a cheer for her triumph. The candidates' careers imploded. Their elitism a public STD stain. Their fear of Elena's power a lesson etched in their downfall. The audience roared on social media, hashtag Royce Rules trending as Elena's justice prevailed. The leaked interview footage sent to a news outlet by Lucas hit 30 million views. It showed Callahan tearing Elena's test, Vanessa's bag check demand, and Jared's taunts contrasted with Elena's calm and Gideon's bow. TikTok looped the phrase Madam Chairwoman, each stitch a cheer for Elena's triumph. The candidates' videos TikTok Jared's photo became memes captioned elite losers. Altarar's Instagram, once a showcase of power, was flooded with comments. Shame on you. Justice for Elena. The board issued an apology, but at 6 it was drowned out by the internet's fury. The company's prestige reduced to a cautionary tale. Elena didn't stop at suspensions. A week later, she stood at a press conference in a simple navy blazer, her toed on a podium, announcing Altarar's new recruitment policy. From now on, she said, her hazel eyes steady. Applications will be anonymous. No names, no photos, no personal branding. Only skills will matter. The crowd roared, cameras flashing. The policy, dubbed the Royce Standard, banned appearance-based evaluations, mandating blind reviews for all roles. Forbes called it the earthquake in executive recruitment, and firms like Goldman Sachs and UBS adopted similar measures. Elena's Royce Standard sent shockwaves beyond Altera, forcing global firms to face their own biases. At a Davos panel, Elena, her toe to her side, challenged CEOs to adopt blind hiring. Her hazel eyes pinning a trembling bank executive who'd once mocked her consulting work. The room's silence was electric. His apology tweeted live. Hatch Elena effect trending as 50 firms pledged reforms. Back at Altera, the panel's desks were cleared. Callahan's awards trashed. Vanessa's designer pens confiscated. Jared's framed MBA tossed in the bin. Employees watched the ruck as Elena walked past, her flat silent, her voice calm. This is what accountability looks like. The Economist cover featured her titled The Chairwoman's Revolution, her linen shirt iconic. The perpetrators' fear was palpable. Their names erased from finance. Their offices empty as Elena's policy reshaped the industry. Social media cheered, users posting, "She scared the suit straight." Elena's power, quiet but seismic, left the guilty trembling in her wake. Elena's influence didn't end with Altera. Her foundation launched a global initiative, training 10,000 women in finance to navigate bias. Its workshops packed with stories of discrimination. She oversaw every detail, her notebook filled with ideas, her total constant at seminars. Her husband, Nathan Royce, a tech billionaire who built a cybersecurity empire, supported her quietly, his Gulfstream parked at Teterboro. But it was Elena's vision that drove change. The boardroom where she'd been mocked was renamed the Royce Conference Center, a nod to her legacy. Letters pour in from candidates worldwide, sharing how the Royce Standard gave them hope. Elena read each one, her hazel eyes bright with purpose. Altera never fully recovered its old sheen. Its stock stabilized, but its culture shifted. The Royce Standard rooting out elitism. The company's Instagram now showcased diverse hires. Its chandeliers dimmed by Elena's light. Callahan and Vanessa faded into obscurity, their bribes a footnote. Jared's LinkedIn stayed dormant, his bravado buried. Leah and Emily scrambled for retail jobs, their TikToks deleted. The world watched Elena's rise. Her white shirt an emblem of resilience. She didn't gloat. She built a fairer system, not with anger, but with grace. Elena and Nathan spent their evenings in their Brooklyn brownstone, its garden alive with their daughter's laughter. She wore her linen shirt, his jeans no tie. They discussed strategy over coffee. Her toad on the counter, holding a new photo. Elena at the policy launch, her smile, radiant. Their wealth was immense, but their mission was greater, rooted in a shared belief in fairness. The world knew Elena now, not as a billionaire's wife, but as a force who turned scorn into systemic change. Elena Royce didn't need a title. She was a stand